Okay, so we are set. Huh? Thank you guys for those who have joined in. Little patient as well as join us for about 2 minutes so that we can have a proper quorum and we kick it off. Yeah, let's give it time for others to join us. Thank you, Fredo Mondi, Andrew Kare, Maraobiria. Asanteni sana for being in time. Those joining us, karibuni sana. Just waiting for a few minutes, about 2 to 3. Then we kick it off. Start up to 10. So 2 minutes, we start off at 10 minutes past 2. Okay, I think we can start once more, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. It's a hot, sunny afternoon here in the coast. We're doing almost 30 to 29 centigrade. I'm happy to see you all. With me is a group of great people who are ready to celebrate this day. I mean, it's been 36 years since the first case was confirmed in Kenya. And ever since, it's been a journey towards realization of a community free from HIV. And there cannot be better time to meet and discuss this great topic, if not the first day of the great month of December. At this juncture, we could kick off this session. So the World AIDS Day, this year's theme is Ending HIV Epidemic with a specific bias on resilience and impact. The webinar is hosted by AMREF Africa. For those who have joined us, you can also follow the conversation online through Africa platforms. You have Africa AF_Rica on Twitter, Africa 254 on Instagram. You have Africa 0001 on Facebook. Yeah, we can also key in our questions and concerns through the QA sections. And for those who have specific sources to share, you can email Patricia to asun@amref. The email will be shared on the chat box in a matter of seconds. So I think we can kick off. Probably we introduce our panelists. From my end, the first person is Nasim. Just a sneak peek of who Nasim is and why you're here. If you can hear me, Nasim, can you introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Nasim Jahangir. I'm the sub-county HIV and STI coordinator, Kilifi South sub-county, Kilifi County. I'm here as a panelist.
Thank you, Nasim. I thought you would say you are one of the awardees, top 35 under 35 Kenya. Anyway, paid might to put it on the wall. So next in line is Mr. Steve. Steve, if you can hear me.
Hi everyone. Happy World AIDS Day. My name is Steve Juma. I am from Homa Bay County. Steve is a youth champion on issues of reproductive health and rights in Homa Bay County. I'm also the founder of the youth-led community-based organization tackling adolescent and young people. Pleasure to be with you here. I hope we'll be having fruitful discussions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm really honored. You happen to be the gentleman, the only gentleman in a panel of queens. Huh? I hear in the good books, if you happen to be a king in a kingdom where ladies were the majority, you go down into the east as the best king on earth. Anyway, next in line is Lydia Kuria, if you can hear me.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lydia Kuria. I work for AMREF Health Africa, currently offering technical support for pediatric and adolescent PMT and GBV HIV program, which we run in Nairobi County. And we support youth, we support adolescents to be able to know their HIV status, and those ones who are positive access care and treatment, and those ones who are negative access preventive services, both HIV services and SRH, sexual and reproductive health services. So I'm happy to be here and to be part of this panel, and I know we'll have a fruitful afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lydia. You rightly put it. It's going to be a fruitful afternoon. Yeah, so the objective of this webinar first is to provide a background information on World AIDS Day celebration, day first. Probably kama kuna wenye wako Hong Kong wako second, so I don't know what you'll prefer on your end. Also, we intend to provide a platform to share progress on information on policies with regards to HIV and young people. We intend also to get a perspective of various challenges faced by young people living with HIV in Kenya at large, and also intend to share best practices in integrating HIV into sectors of programming in the name of quality life for people, young people living with HIV. So, yeah, to the only person who is a white. So, Ms. Nasim, if you can hear me, you went faster. You've said you're a sub-county AIDS and STI coordinator. So basically, for those who are new into health programming, what does your work entail as a sub-county AIDS and STI coordinator?
Thank you, Manuel. So sorry, my introduction was brief because I was finishing up something. So as a sub-county HIV STI coordinator, my work is to coordinate HIV activities in the sub-county, ensuring that all health facilities give quality health care in terms of HIV services to all, ensure that we improve on the 95-95 targets, and also ensure that we have eliminated EMCT, we have eliminated HIV among babies and mothers. So basically it's just to run the program to ensure people are also trained and well mentored in terms of giving HIV management, and also analyze data and advise the county government on how Kilifi South is doing in terms of programming.
Thank you so much, Ms. Nasim. So at that juncture, probably she could share with us how will you describe the current state of HIV and AIDS in Kilifi County? Then you can delve further and tell us what are the prevalence rates. How does Kilifi compare to other regions? Probably the gender ratio. Yeah, when you're ready.
Okay, so we always define areas depending on the risk, the high risk level. So we have Nyanza leading. So Kilifi is one of the moderate areas in HIV infection. And with time, the prevalence of HIV infection in Kilifi County has been going down. If you look at 2015, we had a 4.4 prevalence rate, and currently we are at 3.4% prevalence rate. So it's going down with time, meaning either programming is working or maybe we're not, either we're doing well or not doing well. But I believe we are doing well in terms of ensuring that we reduce HIV infections. In terms of how it's affecting, HIV is definitely, like according to the general global statistics, affecting more female than male, and also the same scenarios in Kilifi. And for the generation we're talking about today, 10 to 24 years, the infections are high among this age group compared to adults. And we don't have the prevalence rate yet, but female compared to male, female are at a higher risk of getting HIV infection, and we have more female who have new HIV infections compared to male in Kilifi. Again, related to also testing.
Thank you so much, Nasim. So we would like to fly all the way to the next coast in Kenya. I'm told there are two coasts in Kenya. One, kuna maji ya chumvi, ingine ni maji yenye haina chumvi. I don't know, ni sukari. So all the way from Homa Bay, Mr. Steve Juma, if you can hear me, we've had the scenario of Kilifi. So kindly please share with great Kenyans who have joined this forum today a brief perspective of HIV and AIDS prevalence rate in Homa Bay County with a specific focus towards adolescents and young people. Mr. Steve?
Thank you, Emmanuel. This is another coast in Kenya. So generally, Homa Bay is one of the leading counties. Media is replete of the information regarding HIV in Homa Bay County. First and foremost, we are along the lake region, and because of our proximity to Lake Victoria, the people of Homa Bay County are primarily fishermen and fisherwomen. So this is a area that as a business hub that attracts attention from people all over, right from Tanzania, Uganda, all over, that comes and fish around here. So this makes it, there is a mixed culture because we have people from different areas that settle around the Homa Bay, the lake region. So you felt like when you look at the Kenya HIV profile 2018, the prevalence rate of Homa Bay was at 4.3 times higher than that of the national. So there are cases that results into these high rates. One, in Homa Bay, it is one of the counties that sex for fish is still practiced. In other words, we call it jaboya. And the group that is disproportionately affected are adolescent girls and young women. Even when you look at the data that was released yesterday, the female, by the National Health Control Council, the female are highly disproportionate as compared to the male because there is a lot of transactional sex that happens along the lake region, since we are a fisher folk region. So just like Kilifi, we at times share some of the similarities when it comes to things that fuel high incidence and prevalence rate of HIV and AIDS around Homa Bay.
Thank you so much for your insights, Mr. Steve. So I'd like to bring in Lydia from AMREF. I understand you are a key expert in this field. If you can hear me, Ms. Lydia, I want you to give us an overview of the AMREF HIV program first. Probably success stories in the recent past and major obstacles, and even how you've managed to transition now during this great pandemic. Ms. Lydia, honor will
Thank
be
you,
yours.
Iman. Thank you, Emmanuel. AMREF Health Africa supports several counties in Kenya. Currently, myself placed or working in Nairobi, and AMREF Health Africa implements several projects, and several of them focuses on HIV programming in the county. So we are able to offer services coming from, supporting service delivery, where we reach out to communities and we are able to help communities to access health solutions. And we are also able to help communities in terms of offering services and focusing on HIV. It's to do with the whole cascade from prevention services, helping the young people, the adolescents and young people to know their HIV status, and also being able to offer HIV care and treatment for those ones who turn HIV positive. Currently in our program in Nairobi, we have over 1,200 adolescents and young people who we are supporting, mainly focusing in the Kibera informal settlement, and also the Kamukuji area and Langata area. And part of our successes is that we have been able to put a high number on antiretrovirus, and we are able to follow them through and see them, have better outcomes in terms of their health, virally suppressed, have youth and young people go on with their normal life, though they are living with HIV, be able to attend school and successfully complete, and some transition even to adulthood, including getting their own families. The other key area that we focus on, and AMREF focuses on, is prevention. To be able to prevent HIV transmission among the adolescent and the young people. So we are in the communities educating communities through our vibrant community health volunteers, so that we can be able to reach the message, and also deal with an issue known as stigma in the community, so that it's easy for adolescents, it's easy for the youth to come out to visit voluntary counseling, testing centers and know their status, and be able to live a normal life. Those ones who are willing to disclose their status to the community around them and educate. We mainly refer to them as peer educators. We have several adolescent and youth peer educators who are also out there educating the communities. So basically, AMREF Health Africa provides services throughout the whole cascade of HIV services, beginning with prevention, through the 390s, as my colleague Nasmin has mentioned, so that we are able to achieve the UN-AIDS 95 goal, which I think we'll be talking a little bit more in this conversation. Thank you, Emmanuel.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lydia. I like you mentioned Nasim. So Nasim from Cliff, if you can hear me, we've had a totally dark, a sunlight of what is dark in Homa Bay. So if you will share with us, what is the county government Kilifi actually doing, or the government at large doing within Kilifi to support young people living with HIV, bearing in mind how you put it that statistics are a bit better than they were in the past years. And what is the secret to the success of HIV programming in Kilifi at large?
Thank you, Emmanuel. I still believe we have a long way to go to eliminate HIV infections in Kenya. All the same, we celebrate little milestones that are happening since 1980s to now. So for Kilifi County, we depend. I hope I can be heard. So for Kilifi County, we have a strong partnership with stakeholders and non-governmental organizations. We have partnered with so many local organizations, again, at a community level that are doing different things in terms of HIV support. So generally, we have good support groups that are ongoing and really active, especially for adolescent and young people. So you find out that all facilities in Kilifi County have support groups that ensure that we enroll these young people into the support group so that they can be able to share their daily lives experience and also learn from their friends when they meet. Also, like currently we have a partner that works with community adherence treatment supporters. These are young people who are living with HIV, and they work in the CCCs to ensure that they follow up adolescent and young people at the community level. So ensuring they walk with them in this journey, ensuring that they come back to the clinic for their viral loads, ensuring that they take their medication, and be able also to send information on how to live positively. And this has contributed a lot to the reduction of HIV infections. As you all know, once people who are already living with HIV are not able to transmit it to other people, the infection also goes down. Again, targeted outreaches to test more people, the new testing style of IPNS, where you target a specific population in order to yield the results, to ensure that you don't test everyone, because most of the times when you test people, you realize that those people who come out voluntarily know their status already. But through partner testing, we are able to target the right people for testing and also ensure that we use resources well. Again, we do a lot of trainings in Kilifi County in partnership with NASCO, AMREF, and other partners who empower our healthcare workers to ensure that they give quality management. And like currently we have the differentiated package of care where we give patients drugs for as long as 6 months before they come again for their clinic. So this means these are patients who are very stable. Again, we have Mentor Mothers, who also is an initiative by the Global Fund, some partners but like Pathfinder support Mentor Mothers who are placed at these health facilities to follow up mothers who are pregnant, ensuring that they come for NC services, ensuring that their babies are tested for PCR at the right time and they take their medication and give them support, including teenage mothers who are living with HIV. Lastly, we also, apart from the adolescent package of care training where healthcare workers are able to manage adolescent and young people, we have caregivers training where we train caregivers who offer these services to either their children or their siblings or maybe their relatives. They're able to understand HIV in detail so that they're able to give quality care to those who depend on them, especially those who have pediatrics.
Thank you so much, Ms. Nasim. That was well elaborate. So I'd like to bring in Ms. Lydia. Lydia, can you hear me? Lydia Kuria from AMREF?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
If you had clearly submissions by Nasim, HIV program is quite intensive, or the intensity of what is demanded for it to succeed is heavy. So I'd like us to create, to have a discussion on this sensitive topic. We all know that HIV programming is not part of the package under UHC, this is the universal health coverage. First, I want to hear your take on that. Then I'd like to hear, how does HIV programming move on? It's not being part of UHC. That means that programming will be biasly dependent on donor funding than what the government brings in. What does that mean to the fight against HIV in Kenya first?
Thank you, Emmanuel. As you have put it, especially in Kenya, we are heavily dependent on donor funding to be able to support our HIV programming. But even as a country, that notwithstanding, we've come a long way in terms of working with our county governments and the national government to be able to work through with them so that they can be able to increase budgets that are allocated to health, budgets allocated to the HIV programming. So I would say as a country, donors have really taken us quite a journey and this far. And we are currently in the process of, as we work with the county government, to the national government for sustainability issues, so that we are able to integrate HIV programming as part of UHC. In specifically for AMREF, we have an integrated model, and part of our pillars that we have for universal health coverage on service delivery, health financing, and government and governance. Sorry, and through all that, we are able to work with county government to do advocacy, to be able to lobby through different forums, through different groups, including community-based organizations, including CSOs, including lobbying even with our political leaders, so that we can have a better allocation of budget towards the fight against HIV. So I think we are not yet there, but we are on a journey towards getting there. And we are really hoping that our governments, both county and national governments, will be able to prioritize and also take this as their agenda, so that for HIV programming, beginning with prevention services, sometimes we tend to be more focused on the care and treatment services, and we forget a lot about community services, and so that we can be able to support, especially the community-based organizations. We will be able to have more funding coming to that level through our county and national government. So I think in summary, I would say we are not yet there. We are heavily donor funded, but we are on a journey to get there, which we are really hoping we will do so. Thank you, Emmanuel.
Thank you so much, Lydia. So I'd like to bring in the gentleman, Mr. Steve Juma from Homa Bay. Mr. Juma.
Yes.
Thank you. It's a bit humid in our coast here. I don't know out of there.
Not bad. We a bit cloudy and more of sun.
Thank you. So
Yeah.
I'd like you to share the cloudiness and the sunniness of the young people in Homa Bay. What specific challenges the young people, more specifically those living with HIV, facing in Homa Bay County?
Sorry, you are breaking.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you. So I wanted you to share specific challenges that young people in Homa Bay County, more specifically those who live with HIV, experience from services to information level across board.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. First of all, I want to say that those people who are on care, the adolescent and young people, they still continue to face the intersecting discrimination. The 2016 Adolescent and Youth Friendly Guidelines provides a range of services, the nature at which young people should get the services in a friendly manner. First of all, are there questions that we ask ourselves? I work with young people mostly. Are these services, are they acceptable? Are they accessible? Are they able to get equitable services? About the appropriateness? How about the effectiveness? So in Homa Bay County, the nature of youth friendliness in terms of accessing services is still at par. Reason why I say this is that you'll find in these facilities the same facility that offer all the services, the general health services, is the same facility that this young person want to come and access the service, maybe come for the appointment date of his or medication on earth. Then secondly, you'll find at the same facility, maybe a aunt or a neighbor is at this particular facility. This young person will shun away. Then you'll find this young person also want to line up with the rest. No, young people, they don't want something that won't hold them. So when it's in a situation that they are HIV positive. So the drivers that sometimes lead into young people, when I talk most on those that are not on care, because we must retain those who are on care, the 95 kid. Then how about those who are not on care? What should be done to them as young people? We realize that Homa Bay County has good, generally Kenya is one of the countries that have good policies. And Homa Bay County lacks a robust. I don't know if my video makes me break. You are getting me?
Loud and clear, Mr. Steve. Yes, proceed.
Thank you. So, young people, there are challenges of legal policy and legal framework. We lack robust policies and legal framework that can help us institutionalize various programs and activities that have been negating the young people in terms of teenage pregnancy, in terms of HIV and other STIs, and all the service delivery processes. So these policies are necessary. We have 2015 sexual reproductive health policy. It is not fully domesticated. We have adolescent and youth friendly policy, guideline of 2016. When we, as spot check in the Homa Bay health facilities, the youth friendly facilities which are there are those supported by partners. Like we have the most known one in Homa Bay town, that is Makongeni Health Center. So Issues of policy and programming and financing to support adolescents has not been a priority in Homa Bay County. Then secondly, the issue that young people face, Article 35(1) guarantees access to information. Messaging of provision around sexual reproductive health and rights is quite very important. For example, there is still a stalemate on the comprehensive age-appropriate sexuality education. The teachers are also only told to preach abstinence, while these people give birth each and every time, which people conceive. So reviewing of the messaging that young people get is still a challenge, other than just getting them from their peers. Are the service providers trained to be youth-friendly? So there are a lot of challenges that young people face. The entire Homa Bay County from one point to another. Issues of gender norms. There are policies. Homa Bay County has no a policy that addresses clearly gender-based violence cases. It is not there at all. So, like I said when I started, the driving factors that lead to high prevalence and incidence rates are issues of transactional sex. It is true someone might like luck, but because we are poor, I have a family to feed. If this my young girl can be able to engage in transactional sex along the lake region, I am able to put something on the table. So issues of income security and livelihood opportunities not only affect the parents themselves, but the young people themselves. So in brief, I can say, then finally, we have risky sexual behaviors. There is this space that during funeral, in fact, we call them disco matangas. There is one sub-county that is very much prone to this. So when they go to this disco matangas at night, they engage in sensual activities that leads to unsafe sex. So ranging from the policies, the poverty index, and the risky behaviors young people undergo a lot. But most importantly, the youth friendliness nature to access these services is not easy. More so during this COVID, a young person will not take initiative. I want to go and be tested when there is a stay-at-home order. So they'll engage in the unsafe sex, but will not take initiative to know whether they are positive or they have infection, so that they know now how can they protect themselves or protect other people when engaging in sex. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Steve. Kika, to our attendees, you can share in your questions through the Q&A section. And if we have any attendee who would like to speak a word or two, please raise your hand or let us know. Our technical person will give you panelists rights to speak. I can see a few hands are in. The technical person can prepare that. So, Ms. Nasim, Steve has actually elaborated the gap in terms of domestication of policies in Homa Bay County, from gender to actual the HIV. So I would like you to bring in the Kilifi County context. What are some of the policies and frameworks being implemented within Kilifi County? You can also share for the national government that actually have taken HIV programming up to a higher ladder in Kilifi County. And as you name them, who else you can tell us for this policy, what is the progress over time, the evolution over time, and the successes of these policies over time since them being launched? Take it over, Nasim.
Emmanuel, you're breaking, but I think I heard you. So for Kilifi County, we had domesticated Kenya a National AIDS Strategic Framework. We had ours that ended last year, and we were in the process of doing a new one. I think it's yet to be launched. Again, we have the adolescent ASYSRH stroke HIV that we also launched last year, but it has been revised this year to include other components like menstrual hygiene management and HIV. So at least align it to the national one and ensure it also touches all sectors that are concerning reproductive health and HIV. So we follow the domesticated Kenya National AIDS Strategic Framework, and we had our own. And again, yeah, the one I've talked about, the adolescent one that we've recently revised to include those. So these are the two policies that we are following with the main objective of reducing HIV infections by 75%, reduce HIV infections, and then reduce mortality also rate. So that's the main objective in the main objectives that we are following to achieve in this strategic framework and policies that we have in Kilifi County.
Thank you so much, Nasim. So, Lydia, Lydia still in?
Yes, I can hear you.
Lydia, in the beginning, there was 90. If it was the good story of the Bible, we'll say, then God saw what he made and he was pleased. So later on, we came to 95. We never achieved 90 in Kenya. We've now scaled up to 95. What is the practical essence of this target? Or are they just mere dreams? And if it's so, if it's attainable, what else do you need to do to make the 95 an actual reality of a world that you live in the great Kenya?
Thank you, Emmanuel. Yes, as you have said, we have been working towards 90, and maybe for those who may not understand, the first 90 has to do with our target is that we may be able to identify 90% of people living with HIV within our communities. And then the second 90 has to do with ensuring that 90% of the people who are HIV positive are put on the lifelong medication known as antiretroviral therapy. And the last 90 is that we ensure that those ones who are on ART are able to 90% of them achieve viral suppression. And as you have said, that is what we have been working towards. They are achievable. If you check in some populations within our national data, you find that we have achieved the 90%. Among the adolescent and young people, we are on our way there, and there are several things that we are doing. And since these ones are UNAIDS targets that we achieve their global targets, as a country, we also embrace them. And though in some populations or some counties or sub-counties, we have not been able to achieve the 90%, we still raise our bar. So that we can be able to give our young people the best, which is achieving the 95. And it is achievable, that I would confirm, coming from a program level where we implement services. And I think if we close the gap, if we are able to deal with the issues as outlined by the different speakers today, we'll be able to reach the 95. And if I would add probably to what my colleagues have spoken before, there are issues, of course, of policies, the issues of implementation of policies as rightly put, and there are also issues of for the youth. We usually deal with them and they usually tell us, and we work with them because it's nothing for them without them. Their slogan is nothing for us without us. And so working with the youth, working with the young people, working with the adolescents will help us to achieve the 95. And for you, from me, from a program level, I'll tell you, yes, they are achievable. We have a few gaps. We have a few challenges here and there. Some of them are major challenges, probably like what has been outlined from Homa Bay County, but we are on the journey there, and I believe that as Steve has, passionately put it, when we support especially such areas to do with policies, to do with financing, to do with reaching out to communities, the issue dealing with some cultural practices that could be harmful, dealing with the issues to do with GBV. They are really drivers that we've not really managed to hack properly to help us fight the disease. But the 95, 95, 95 is achievable, and it has been achieved in some sets of populations or category of, in some parts of our country as we analyze our data.
Thank you so much, Lydia. I take it home that 95, 95, 95 is actually achievable in your own wordings. I am wowed by the fact you talked of nothing without us, nothing for us without us. And now I'd like to bring a person who is a key player in actually making the religion of nothing for us without us. Ms. Josephine, Pamela, if you can hear me, please introduce yourself before this great community, who you are and what role do you play within the Siaya County Department of Health. Thank you so much. Pamela. Pamela, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes, Pamela.
Yes. Good afternoon, Phil.
Good afternoon.
I'm sorry I joined you a bit late.
Okay.
Pamela Justin Anyanga, Coordinator Reproductive Health and Care County.
Yes, Pamela, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, let us just continue, then I'll give my input.
Pardon, Pamela, you're actually quite audible.
Yeah.
Yes,
Are you
proceed.
able to get me now?
Loud and clear.
Yes, I've said that I coordinate reproductive health in Care County. It's true at some point the youth complained that why us without us. It's very important that even as we do anything right from policy making, we should engage them in our talks. And we should engage them in the process throughout, right from the initial stage, and not them to be called now to be partakers of what some adults have worked on. So I also support that. Why us without us? We should actually inform them at all stages. And from the statistics that we got yesterday, we are saying that it is this cohort, age cohort, that has the highest number of infections. The new infections is actually that group. So for us to fight this, for us to fight HIV, for us to reduce the rate of new infections.
We're losing you, Pamela. Pamela, your internet is quite unstable.
Thank you, and over to you.
Sorry, Pamela, as you sort your internet, probably I'll bring in Steve Juma.
Yes, Emmanuel.
Thank you, Steve. We have a sub-county AIDS coordinator. We have an AYSRH county coordinator. We even have a donor from AMREF. Now, assuming you are to represent the young people, not only from Homa Bay, but from the entire nation of Kenya, just 2 minutes, the asks of young people, the national government and the county government, because you have representative from both, and even the donor community with regards to the HIV pandemic. Take it over.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Emmanuel, and everyone. By representing young people, not just now, but even back in the community where I come from, the nothing for us without us mantra, sometimes it's a lip service to some people. But I really wish to say that young people need to meaningfully be engaged from designing, execution, up to monitoring. But on the reality, you find that young people are there to be seen. They are there to be, not to be, only to be seen. We really want young people, like today we have an internationally day for World AIDS Day, sorry. You'll find that young people will be taking part in presentations, making dramas, theater, but from the onset when this was being planned, you'll find that they were not involved per se. So as a young person who represents other people, the government is here, the donor is here. We are, as young people, we are left behind in several issues. One, we are perceived not to have experience. Where do we want to get this experience if you are not engaged from the start? So that is where we need to start from. We need to be engaged. There are a lot of young people. If you live alone in schooling, we have those between 20 to 24 years who have completed their level of education. In one way or the other, they need to survive before they can indulge in activities that actually are negating to the society. How can they be engaged? Must we wait for them to get a 3 years or 2 years experience so that they can even get back and empower other young people? Currently, as a strategy we use to engage young people to engage in meaningful activities is by using their peers. These peers is not a must that he has to be a graduate or what. Young people have the level in which they understand each other. Can we go to that level that a Form 3 can understand a Form 3? Why must you wait for someone who has higher qualification to come and talk to this person in a programmatic way? We actually, I will urge each and everyone that when we are handling
Mr. Juma? Okay, we seem to have lost Mr. Juma. Pamela, is your internet stable now? Pamela?
Not very stable.
Thank you. So just in a nutshell, Pamela, apologies for the network hit first. I want you to share with us what is the role of the county government, what has the county government of Kaya played in HIV programming? What are the key achievements you've had as a county, and how does the national government come into play in the programming of HIV in Siaya County? Thank you.
Yeah, sorry for the network picture. So in Siaya County, what we've done is that the youths are engaged, and we believe that for them to be engaged meaningfully, they must also show that they are promising. So what the strategy that we've used as a county is we have youth champions. In the county, we have 30 wards. We have youth representatives. Two of them from each of these, out of one from each sub-county. They meet at that level, then after their meetings, they come and pass the feedback. So this has somehow enabled us as a county to work well with the youths. And we are engaging them in a number of activities. Like even tomorrow, we'll be having a meeting with the representatives from all the 6 sub-counties. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you so
sorry,
much.
Emmanuel.
Yes, Steve. Sorry, we got you short.
Apologies.
Yes, you're a bit unstable.
Emmanuel, tell me.
Okay, Steve, just work
Yes.
on your connectivity, then I'll get back to you, please. In the meantime, I can see a hand from somebody, Fred. I don't know, Fred Omondi. Fred Omondi. Our IT person can enable Fred to speak. His hand has been up for quite a while. As we move on, I want to bring in Nasim. There's a question here. Nasim, can you hear me?
Yes, Emmanuel.
Thank you. I can see a question here. I will be joining Form 1 next year. I've been taking medicine from one clinic throughout. So what will I do when I join Form 1? I don't think, I hope you got that question clear. Thank you, please. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good question. Congratulations for making it up to Form 1. Many young people give up on the way, thinking that education is for only those who are not HIV infected. I think it's very possible, since you are used to one clinic. What you do when you are almost going back to school, you just go to your healthcare worker, the CCC clinician. They will give you drugs for up to 3 months, because uh, I believe a term takes 3 months or 4. So they'll give you drugs that will last you that time. But remember, any adolescent below the age of 24 needs to have their viral load done 6 monthly. So we'll ensure that either you do it to the closest facility near your school. This means maybe you'll have to disclose to either the head teacher or the matron about your status. So there's always someone you can always talk to. And if you're not ready, you can always ask for permission to go back home after the 6 months, so that you can be able to do the viral load. But yes, you can take your drugs for 4 months. The doctor will be happy to give you for 4 months, as long as you are good with your adherence. Remember, you are going to face challenges in school, especially if you'll be in boarding school. And if you're not ready to disclose, you might find yourself in accidental disclosure, where maybe some other people may spot you taking your drugs, and they start asking, or maybe talk around about it. Or you as a person, if you have your own self-stigma, you'd be scared to take drugs in front of people. So you have to really embrace the situation and ensure that you come out strong when you go to school. And I think the best way for you is to just disclose. I see students who have disclosed live a better life in school than others, though others also face a lot of challenges. So you have to be sure of the disclosure part, and who are you disclosing to. But if you find it difficult, just ensure your healthcare worker give you enough drugs for the 4 months, and again, ensure that you have your viral load done within the 6 months that are supposed to be done. Thank you.
Thank you, Nasim. So I want to bring in Lydia Kuria. This is a key issue. Mr. Steve Juma talked about the peer-to-peer model. It has been well documented from the Malawi report that peer-to-peer model is the best way of programming. So, Mrs. Lydia Kuria, meaningful youth engagement has for a long time been a thing for good speeches and good books. How do we actualize meaningful youth engagement in HIV programming?
Thank you, Emmanuel. I think I would say by actually doing it, I hope you can hear me. By actually engaging the youth, then we'll actualize that meaningful engagement of the young people. Currently in the HIV programming, we have a very vibrant strategy known as Operation 000 that engages the adolescent and young people living with HIV as active stakeholders and partners in their health. The way we do it is that we sit with the adolescent and young people who are HIV positive, provide a forum for them where they are able to actually come up with, and they have really been engaged throughout this process of actualizing the Operation 000. And because they are the ones who are taking charge of their health, we start with them through the process so that they can be able to craft and come up with what would they want to happen to them when they come to the facilities, what would they want to happen when they come they are in the community, and the Operation 000 is the target is for them to be able to commit themselves to achieve zero missed appointments, to achieve zero missed drugs, and to achieve zero viral load. That means they are virally suppressed. And through that program, we have seen actually the adolescents and the young people themselves come together, and those programs are run by the adolescent living with HIV mentors. We have among them who are able to mentor, who are able to train. So we capacity build those ones, and so they are able to speak to their peers. And I think, as Steve has put it, that one has really worked because the information is better, put out to the young people by the young people, and they're able to understand the challenges and what they are going through. So in terms of programming, for adolescents living with HIV, it is working, and it has helped. For example, in our program, it has helped us to improve our viral suppression among the OTZ Operation 000 members from around 70% in 2017, and currently in 2020, we are approaching the 90% mark among the Operation 000 members, and we have 95% enrollment. We have very, very good uptake among our adolescent and young people. And so it's a program that really engages the adolescents and young people living with HIV to be able to program, to be able to be involved, as Steve has put it, up to the monitoring level, because together with them we are able to monitor, together with them they're able to know among us, there are these people who have these challenges, what do we do, and all that. So I think meaningful engagement of the young people, especially living with HIV, is happening. We just need to cascade it so that it can move to, government level. It can move to policy, drafting policies and implementing them and all that, so that they can be involved. But there is a bit of it. And maybe before I hand it over back, Emmanuel, just to add to what Nasmin has said to the young person joining Form 1, especially if they are joining a boarding school, there are things that we anticipate might happen as you join a boarding school. Maybe you have been in a day school, and I won't repeat what Nasmin has said, because we are able to support you to have enough medication. We are able to support you to equip you with skills to handle different situations in the school, and how to store your medication, how to remember to take your medication at the correct time. So all those services are available at the health facility. Whichever health facility you pick your medication from, you don't have to move to another facility, as Nasmin has helped you to understand how you can get medication to last you for that long. So it's possible for us to support you to be able to continue with your medication throughout your boarding and high school, to have enough medication. And to also, the other thing we have done is to be able to have our clinic appointments in line with the national or the education, like the educational timetable that was released the other day. We are aligning all our appointment for our adolescent and young people in school to that timetable, so that we don't have to get you out of school for you to come for your medication. So we are really supporting at the facility level for our young people to be able to access their medication, and to also to be part of their HIV management. Thank you, Emmanuel.
Thank you so much to whoever was joining. You will be joining from 1. I hope amesaidika. So I'd like to bring in a member of our audience, Fred Omondi. I saw your hand was up. Huh? I hope you can now speak. Huh? Fred? Is Fred still with us? Okay, as we sought Fred, we can go back to Pamela. Pamela is with us now.
Hello, you can get me?
Thank you. Yes, loud and clear. Please introduce yourself, then you have a question or comment, you are free to take it up.
Okay, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Okay, Yes, I'm Fred Omonde from Homa Bay. I'm working with the WOFAC and health entrepreneurs. I'm also a member of steering committee of civil society organization network. It is a very wonderful topic about the HIV and AIDS. To start, HIV and AIDS is very disastrous to the world. We as the staffs of WOFAC and healthy entrepreneurs, we decided to do a training, that's HIV self-test training. The major objective of this training was to fill the gap between the community members and the hospitals. Secondly, to do linkages to the people who have been tested from the field. Then they can be taken to the CCC for antiretroviral therapy services. Now, to share with you about the training, in Homa Bay, we managed to train the 360 CHVs on HIV self-test. And in Kisumu also, we were lucky to have trained a total number of 700 CHVs on HIV self-test training. Now, the major objective I think I've shared with you, the target groups for this HIV self-test were the fishmongers, because they could not actually go to the health facilities for maybe routine checkup or maybe for test. Then there are also the disabled guys, the elderly and the youths. Now, the major challenges that we were having, the oral quicks were out of stock, and this one was really giving us a challenge on how to maybe source for more oral quicks and give the CHVs. Because we believe that the CHVs that were trained on HIV self-test, they were trained on both pre and post-counseling, services, and also how to do the test using the oral quick. So we believe on what we did to the community, at least brought an impact.
Yes.
Then the solution to this problem, please, I'm just sharing because I don't know whether I'll get the time.
30 seconds.
Solution to this,
I'm
sorry?
informed 30 seconds, Fred.
Okay, sir, no problem.
Yes, wind
Hello?
up. Wind
Okay,
up.
solution to this challenge, we need a multi-sectoral approach on this prevention and control of HIV and AIDS. Also in Homa Bay County, whereby we normally get the high rate of new infection. And this one is lowering our immunity of young children, young youths, so the people who are at high school level. And this one is really giving them a negative impact in terms of their education. So the way I've said, please, if we can work hand in hand to curb this new infection, then there we are, and together we'll stand. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your insight. We accept the challenge and we welcome it. We embrace multi-sectoral coordination. They indeed working together. I don't know if Pamela is now stable from my end. Pamela Josephine.
Yes.
Okay, I'm really sorry. I feel for you for the network hitch. So we cut you short when you're loud and clear. So just briefly, tell us the plan for Siaya County.
Briefly, okay. So for Siaya County, what we do, like there was a concern that had been raised about people who will be joining for more next year. Right from the clinical level, we start preparing the pupils and their parents. Meaning they'll be transiting. If this girl goes or boy goes to a boarding school, back at home, the parent was the treatment buddy. But now in school, that will be a new environment. So we start sharing with them what is expected of them. E.g., like in schools, in those particular schools, we have like champions, treatment champions. If it's a boarding school, girls' school, we have one treatment champion. These people can be linked to that champion to support. Initially, the first 2, 3 days, 1 month, it will be a bit tricky, but with the time they get used to. Then on the issue, what we also stress on as a county is these youth who are enrolled. We encourage all of them to be in the 000 club. In this 000 clubs, they share the experiences, they support each other. Them that are not virally suppressed, they are able to help do that follow-up. Why us without us? They are able to follow their very own, of course, with the support of the healthcare workers. Then with this cohort, even with the statistics that we just received, the national statistics, which I believe is a replicate to all the sub-counties, we have new infections that is affecting this cohort, and it's a bit high and wanting. And this is a cohort that is very active and is sexually active. So I think now what we should do is we should change the way we've been viewing things and now start talking to them how to the positive prevent the positive, prevent other. We have zero new infections. We reduce the rate at which we are currently in. And I believe we will go a long way as a nation or even as different counties. This will help us reduce the pandemic that we are now fighting. Because this means that if we continue with these figures the way they are, it will mean that in the near future we will not have, they'll be affected in one way or the other. And for us to prevent this, this is the time we can recheck and reevaluate what we've been doing. Then we check the right move. Thank you. Over back to you.
Thank you so much, Pamela. We retake and reevaluate. So we've done so much of our time. Yeah, I appreciate the question. Most of them have been answered in the submission. That was nice for the panelists. So to my panelists, two minutes each. What is your message to young people in the world as you celebrate the World AIDS Day? I'll start with Steve, then go to Lydia, then Nassim, then we wrap it up with Pamela in that order. 2 minutes each. So Steve, you go in first.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Before I can give my fellow young people information that is for their consumption, I really want to say that there's a gap that has also been missing in terms of programming. The young people with the disabilities are always not captured in most of the programs. I don't know if it's because of the nature of the disability that they have. So you really find in terms of accessing these services, it's quite difficult for them. For example, if you can have an outreach somewhere, it is not easy for them to participate in. Then I also want to say that to the programmers, young people are there. They only need that information, the startup information that can help them survive in the field. So training capacities, like I had the OFAC did, is quite really important. Then the young people within the rural setup are also disadvantaged when it comes to online. Currently, we have an online platform there where we register young people, that is Africa. This online where young people get information, but there are those that they're afraid of getting internet. Even internet access phone is a challenge. So this is also area of concern that is really important. Then most importantly, issues of health requires a collective action. As we have a multi-sectoral approach in programming, then on the ground, the target audience is also necessary. There have been over laying emphasis on empowering girl child, but still they have weaker bargaining power for sex. Even when you empower 10 times, when they meet with the boyfriend, she still don't have that power. You get it? So I recently handled a situation where a girl, they broke up with the boyfriend because she was found with a condom in a bag. Yes, it was for protection, but the boy termed as promiscuous. What if this boy is also brought along during empowerment process? So I really think this is very important.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So to our young people, I want to say that
yes, wind up,
it is our responsibility. Let us not be on the comfort zone that all the programs, all the government programs come to us. Can we also act? Because we cannot be engaged if you are not very proactive to take initiative. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Steve. That was a great insight. Now, Nata, mtu request for your number in the chat box. You can reach out to Morao Biria. So I'd like to bring in Ms. Lydia Kuria. Your 2 minutes begin now.
Thank you, Emmanuel, for this opportunity. My message to the young people is that you have long life ahead of you. You have many opportunities. One of the greatest resources that you have in life is time, and you have that resource within your hands. And so I would ask all the young people living with HIV, negative, Steve has said, take responsibility of your own health and life. Seek for information. The information is available. Seek for information from the correct sources. And then the other thing is that we, in the healthcare programming, especially for the young people living with HIV, we have committed ourselves to be able to offer you services that are both accessible to you and they are appropriate. And we have trained our healthcare workers to to offer adolescent and youth responsive services. So even in where the resources are very limited, I happen to work in an informal settlement where we have limited resources. Even in those resource limited settings, as much as possible, there is a lot of effort to make healthcare workers to be adolescent responsive, to be youth responsive. So take advantage of the opportunities that are available. Get your information from the correct sources. Do not engage in do not get information from the wrong sources, and then speak out. Team up together, like I think what Steve Juma has done is very, very commendable. Team up together with the other young people in the communities. Be a voice in the community. Lobby with, the political leaders, the MCAs. That currently as a country we are moving to the heightened political season. Engage those MCAs and make them commit, to supporting your health and healthcare as a whole. So I think that's my message to the young people. Sorry for exceeding my time, but thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Lydia. Thank you for that. So, Nasim.
My parting shots will be this year's world message, World AIDS Day message is global solidarity and shared responsibility. This means everyone in this world has the responsibility to ensure we end HIV and that people who are living with HIV also live a healthy life. And at the same time, support also the all the measures that are being put in place by MOH in terms of COVID-19. Again, you see COVID-19 is impacting on the HIV programming in a negative way. So it's our responsibility to ensure that we make this world a better place for everyone by taking charge. So for the young people, I think the government is doing a lot of things, and we need to also, as Lydia said, they cannot come to you all the time. You need to also be proactive and go for them. So people are out there ready to see you, to meet you, to talk to you. And I think if you just talk to other people to ensure that they even reach a health facility, the knowledge is free of charge and they'll always get support. And meanwhile, I think these are good recommendations, and maybe when we sit in those meetings, we are able to also relay the same so that we can have a better world tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Indeed, we foresee a world that is better tomorrow. And moving on. So I'd like to bring in Pamela Josephine. Just parting shot, 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. My parting shot to the young people is number one, love yourself. If you love yourself, you will not hurt yourself, meaning you value your life. And if you value your life, you have to reach out because as an individual, you know the goals that you want to attain in life. And we believe that if you love yourself and you have values in life, we are looking forward to you people in the next 10, 20 years to be the leaders in this nation. And another thing, I am glad that Steve talked of empowerment. They have challenges with the internet. Today, we have challenges with the internet. Not all of the youth have the smartphones that they can access maybe internet or other things. Right from the community level, they can have youth groups, they organize sessions, they are talked to, they have discussions, serious, meaningful discussions, something that can change their lives as they wait for that time when they'll acquire maybe the smartphones or the other gadgets. And I believe that right in our health facilities, our healthcare workers are being trained to offer youth responsive services, youth friendly services, and this is doing quite well. Then another thing, let us try as much as possible to prevent new infections. It is true a number of youth are sexually active. For those that are currently living positively, let them prevent the others from getting positive. Those that are negative, let them live negatively. And that is just one prong in which one can acquire HIV/AIDS. Another one is the young mothers. Of course, we all know that the number of teenage pregnancies is on the rise. We believe that maybe from this month we'll be able to get further statistics on what has happened post-COVID when the girls came home. The figures in most of the counties were ranging. By the month of May, we had 5,000, 3,000, depending in different counties. This means that this is an evidence that they had had unprotected sexual intercourse. So if this is happening, at some point, this girl child will have to drop out of school. That is the bitter truth. And if they drop out of school, even if they go back to school, their self-esteem will now be low. Meaning, if this was an average student, the performance will be low. So for the boys, it is the boys to protect the girls and the girls to protect the boys, and let the youth also love themselves. Thanks so much, and I appreciate the organizers for this for convening this meeting. Thank you. Over.
Yes, I am not allowed to take a point or a position, but I promise you, with the youth, we will take care of ourselves. So it's been a great conversation, almost an hour, 30 minutes out of this great day. Indeed, the World AIDS Day is here. Let's celebrate it. Let's spread the good gospel. So we come into a juncture of this conversation. To all attendees, the recording of this call will be available within 48 hours for those who registered through your emails. Also encourage you to visit our online platforms, Africa, that is www.africa.com. You have a good segment for information and also products through my shop feature within the website. Otherwise, on behalf of my panelists and all the organizers from AMREF, I'd like to say thank you so much for creating your time. It's been an honor hosting you. In case anything was said by my panelists that seemed offensive, looked offensive, or almost sounded to be offensive, please receive my humble apologies on behalf. So yeah, thank you so much. That was my time. I was your host, Emmanuel Mwakera from Kilifi. Karibuni Kilifi. Mbarikiwe. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Bye.